We all have to eat. You might as well find out where the best food is. From restaurant reviews to the fun of food from around the region to around the world. This is The Food Show with Andrew Coppolino on 570 News.
Good afternoon and welcome to The Food Show here on 570 News. Glad to have you alongside. It's one of those cold winter days, and we've had a weekend of snow and some driving wind, and it makes it nice to be sitting in front of your radio wherever you might be, and we'll be chatting a little bit about food for the next hour, so I'm glad you've been able to join us here. We've got one of our regular features on the show is to do like a round table where we have a number of chefs from the region who come from different restaurants and from sort of different parts of the city and the region. We get them all together in the studio and we have a little discussion. So we've got one of those as our regular sort of monthly feature. And I'll introduce you to the gentleman in the studio with me now. I'm grateful the gentlemen have taken time out of their busy schedules to join me here. First, I'd like to introduce from King Street Trio, Chef Justin Bronson. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Yeah, I don't think you've been on the show before. We've done a little bit of TV work together, you and I, but it's good that... maybe you have been on the show. Have you been here in the studio before?
Once I was on the show, yes.
Well, welcome. You got a new location there that we'll talk about as the hour goes on. You had a busy night last night?
Yep.
About 80 people, you said?
80 people, yeah.
But even then, it was kind of...
Despite the weather.
Yeah, okay. And next to him, Daryl House. He's the chef at the 41 Gastro Pub in downtown Kitchener. Hi, Daryl. How you doing?
Thanks for having me, Andrew.
How was your night last night?
Great night.
It was a good night, even with the blowing snow. And
it seems to bring people out.
Yeah. And again, next to Daryl is Jamie Monk. He's the chef de cuisine at Rush's Restaurant in the Waterloo Inn Conference Hotel. Welcome, Jamie.
Good afternoon, Andrew.
It's been a while. You've been here before, but you're back again. And how are things going with you at Rush's?
Excellent. Business is still blooming, and we hope to keep busy.
Is this a tough time of the year, gentlemen? As you watch the holiday season go through, you get your busy times for the month up to Christmas. You get the craziness around, New Year's coming up. Then all of a sudden, do things really tail away, or are they pretty much on level ground, Daryl?
I think it's just more unpredictable. It's not your busy early in the week and slower on the weekends, or it can flip-flop.
Exactly. The hotels, they could be that way too, totally. It is up and down, definitely. Depends on the weather too, right? I actually had a pretty good winter too, so not cold, I guess, and not snowy, so it's been getting people out too. So
I would agree with both. It's unpredictable. Can't count on a busy weekend. Can't count on a slow weekday. So
the restaurant industry.
That's typical for the restaurant industry.
Yeah, there is no guessing it and getting it right.
Well, one of the things I've always wondered about when you're cooking is people come back into the restaurant, come back into a new year with New Year's resolutions, and does this pose any kind of an issue or problem for you guys? Because you've got your menu set, you got a way that you're cooking, you get into a rhythm and pattern as the new year comes in. Then someone comes in and says they want X, Y, Z, and they don't want any butter in it, or they want.
I'm getting that a lot actually now, and it's
more than
gluten
you think
allergies too is growing too. Like I find on a regular basis, once a night, there's usually one person that has a gluten allergy or celiac or whatever, and that's more than what it used to be, I find.
And that's something you have to be concerned about.
Yeah, you have to be ready all the time.
It's also a fairly new allergy, too. It's more and more common. I knew someone that took about 5 years to get diagnosed with
because they didn't even realize they probably had it,
exactly.
right?
How long are these people living with it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
And what do you do? How do you help them? I mean,
well, the thing is that at our restaurant, I don't know about other ones, but we don't use a lot of flour thickeners and stuff like that and starches. Everything's from scratch. So when they come into the restaurant at Rush's, we can usually work with them on the menu. And our menus, it's a smaller menu. It's not a huge menu, so we know where our stuff comes from,
No, at 41 we're really adaptable to sort of dietary sensitivities. So there's never been an issue with, changing it up or coming up with something that they want that might not be on the menu.
And you really have to be careful. I mean, if you have to know what the ingredients are.
And that's when you're buying it from the farmer or when you're getting it in, and you know where it's coming from instead of just buying it out of a box. We can work with these clients and make sure that they have what they need,
What about training, though? I mean, if someone comes in, they have certain kinds of allergies. You're surprised where you find allergens, I guess, in food. Like, for instance, soy sauce. I didn't realize soy sauce had wheat in it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So for your own personal training? How do you are chefs coming through schools now? Do they get that kind of training? Do you guys have some background in that, or is it something you've got to sort of learn as you're going along in the job?
I think most of the learning I've done has been through customers and through friends that have had dietary sensitivities.
True.
And that way that we can, and you hear people talk and you listen and you can help them. And I think that's where our new menu that we just launched last week, we were very, very conscious of the gluten allergies. We don't use any nuts in the upstairs in the kitchen anymore, just to be safe, because we want people to have an enjoyable experience.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. No, I agree. And it comes from just time too, like working. You get each day you're finding out something new, or because that's the thing about cooking. There's always something new to learn, and you'll be like, oh, I never knew that. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just one of those things,
Now, you guys are really well connected in terms of, there's a real neat, I think I've discovered I don't work in a restaurant, but I've discovered that chefs know a lot about what's going on in the industry because of people like suppliers that hop from restaurant to restaurant to restaurant. There's like
Sales
a little,
reps.
There's like a little chain of communication. So
I think they call it gossiping.
Is it gossip?
Yeah, it's gossip.
Yeah.
Well, tell me some gossip. Who's got some gossip they want to share?
I don't know.
Like there's changes happening. There's changes happening.
You don't want to make anyone mad, so we're just gonna keep it off the air. Gossip is between two chefs, or
or three.
Yeah, or three. Without live air.
There's some changes. I've heard some rumors. You guys can confirm it or not. Has Margaritas closed in Uptown Waterloo? I understand that the Margaritas
there's
are
a sign up in the front door.
Does
For
it
sale,
say,
or is it closed?
It says it's closed.
Oh,
I
they shut it
believe.
down.
I only read the first two lines, but
Okay, but it doesn't say closed for renovations. Doesn't say closed for vacation, because a lot of times they're closed for vacation and they never come back.
Encore says it's closed for renovation.
Yeah. And I heard that the Rude Native is moving as well. Do you have anybody want to
Moving or
confirm?
closing?
Closing? Oh, well, I just heard moving.
Yeah, I heard closing, but I don't know. See, this
Okay,
is
so-
one of the gossip things again. I don't know.
So,
Yeah.
can't you guys get some better information? Something that can be corroborated?
Sorry,
A
Andrew, you're
staple
gonna have to
on
work in
there.
a kitchen to get the good
I don't
information.
think anyone wants to be responsible for the repercussions of saying this on the air.
Yeah, okay,
So
I
many
understand.
listeners.
I understand.
That's what the Inquirer's for,
Well, you know what? In 1924, a gentleman by the name of Carl Taylor of Cleveland patented the first U.S. ice cream cone rolling machine. So that goes back to 1924. I thought I'd just share that little tidbit with you. And in 1978, Sweden banned aerosol cans. So no more Ready Whip in Sweden in 1978. Now let me ask you though, do you have that product in your restaurant?
No, we use.
You wouldn't tell me anyway, would you?
Yeah, no, we would. I would tell you.
Okay, but this is a better one. Now, in 2004, back in 2004, on this day, January 29th, a 60-ton, 56-foot-long sperm whale exploded on a busy street in Tainan, Taiwan. A buildup of gas from internal decay caused the explosion. Researchers were taking the whale by truck to a university to perform a necropsy on it. It died on a beach, and they were trying to figure out why it died. No one was injured in the explosion, and of course, in these cultures, they eat a lot of whale and stuff, so it wouldn't be unusual.
Well, they use a lot for a lot of things,
Yeah,
right?
Blood and entrails in the explosion showered cars and shops, and the traffic was held up for hours as the whole mess was cleaned up. So I don't know. Do you work with that kind of product ever, Jamie? Not whale per se, but you get some weird stuff in your restaurant that you get to work with, or do you have to keep it pretty?
Well, it depends.
pretty
I've
traditional?
dabbled in with some different things, but now with the local thing, we don't have that kind of weird stuff. Like I've seen the kangaroo and the alligator and all that kind of stuff. Oh, we don't have that around here, so it's pretty run of the mill. When we bring stuff into Rushers, we just know what we're bringing in because it's from the local area, from the farmers, and stuff like that. So you don't get that extreme stuff. But
Well, you could though, because correct me, there is an emu farm locally, and they do produce these kinds of things. When you
wild
put something
boar
like,
and stuff like that.
Yeah, when you put that kind of stuff on the menu, does it go, or do you find you're stuck with it? You got to figure out some other way to move it out, or is it something?
No, it goes. It goes. Yeah, you just got to try some different things sometimes, and that's what we enjoy doing. That's why we enjoy cooking, because we can play with our food, I guess you call it.
Right.
And try some different things, and then some things work and some things don't.
Daryl, I know you traveled to the south of the United States. Do you ever pick up things like learning how to cook alligator or?
Yeah, I try to make it down there a couple times a year, and I got a couple friends down there that cook, and they've taught me quite a bit because it's a different culture, and I think that it's about. When I come back here, I play with it a little bit at the restaurant. We do, some features, and whatnot. But it's about authenticity, and I'll never be able to do it as well as they can do it down there.
Right.
So at home we jambalaya once a week. You know what I mean?
Well, I've did octopus too before. A great little thing, but does it sell sometimes? Depends.
I think you have to make sure people are comfortable with it, whether you're building a reputation for the restaurant or yourself as a chef. When you're using those fancy ingredients and strange ingredients, people have to know you're going to execute it properly.
You have to be
as much as I want to be adventurous when I go out and try sushi and stuff, I'm not going to go to Happy Boat and order the sea urchin off the menu that I don't know how long it's been in their fridge. You know what I mean? Like, when I experiment with food at home, I'm not afraid to be adventurous, but in a restaurant setting, I like to make sure it's executable,
tasty,
it's going to sell, and people are going to thoroughly enjoy it. I don't think there's any point in spending your time prepping an item, tracking it down, ordering it, paying for it, and then it doesn't sell, right?
Yeah, well, if it's in demand, if one of your customers say, you guys haven't done this yet, I'll see what I can do, and I'll go and see if I can source it somewhere. I got a great produce guy I work with, Anthony from Sold Reputation, and he brings in some different kinds of produce that you wouldn't even commonly see in the grocery store.
Right.
And then you put them on the menu, and people are interested in trying that. Probably more with produce than different kinds of game meats. Maybe, I don't know, because they're not so
scary.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to Justin's comments about sushi or urchin. If you go, you have to pick the right restaurant that you would go to, that someplace that you trust. You're not going. You see it on local menus, or you see it on restaurants that you're not so sure that can handle it. And if you're not going to venture that way, then a lot of other customers.
Well, I'm a fussy eater. I always have been. Typically, when I prepare something for the first time, I like to do it myself. I like to season it to my liking, and then maybe the next time I'll trust somebody else to do it. This is simple enough that it can't be ruined by somebody.
How about that? What is that, blowfish fugu or whatever it is that you'd want to make sure the chef knew?
Exactly.
I remember Michael Smith, the gigantic, tall.
Yeah, he was
East
in our
Coast
restaurant a couple weeks ago.
Oh, was he? Yeah.
Yeah, he came in for dinner. It was weird. The server came in. She's like, "I think Michael Smith's out in your dining room."
Wow.
And I was like, well, maybe, I was like, what's he look like? He's a great big guy,
6'6".
with the hair, and I've seen him a million times, she said, and so I popped my head out, and sure enough, he was out there with a table of four, so
wow.
I don't know what he was doing. I heard from the front desk, because we're at the hotel, that he's
more
maybe
gossip.
Interested in getting a farm around here or something, because he's up in Newfoundland, or is he at that east?
PEI, I believe, yeah.
Yeah. Great big guy.
Yeah.
Came in for dinner.
That's very interesting that he's poked his head into our neck of the woods. That's good to see, actually. I think
maybe got good farming area.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a presence of somebody on a national scale like that would certainly give it even more credibility. Most of the people that are here, like you guys and a lot of other restaurants, are already certainly mining that resource very, very well. But it'd be great to have a more national attraction to show what this area can be like. Oh, hey, we're way over time. I'm with Justin Bronson, King Street Trio. That's kingstreettrio.com. Daryl House of the 41, the41.com. And Jamie Monk of Rush's Restaurant in the Waterloo Inn Conference Hotel, waterlooinn.com. Now, don't go away. Coming back, we're going to talk a little bit more with these chefs. And at the bottom of the hour, we're also going to give them a special secret ingredient task. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. This is 570 News.
To the Food Show with Andrew Coppolino on 570 News.
He likes bread and butter. He likes toast and jam. That's what baby feeds him. He's a loving man. Well, I like bread and butter. I like toast and jam.
And here we are back once again on the Food Show. Andrew Coppolino with you. And hey, Matt, how you doing in the studio there? Operations stuff. How's it going?
I'm good. I'm doing well. How
do you
about
have a food question? Look, this is time to ask it. If we got three pros here, they know what they're doing. If you got any questions,
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Which wise guy was that? So ask away, okay, Matt?
Ask me next segment. I'll
think about it. And I will throw that out to everybody else that's out there. 519-570-2545. That's 519-570-2545 or star 570 on your cell. If you have a question for either of Jamie Monk, Daryl House, or Justin Bronson here in the studio regarding food, restaurants, anything you want to know, they'll be happy, I'm sure, to take your calls. And just to go over that again, that's Justin Bronson is with us here. He's from King Street Trio, kingstreettrio.com. And again, thanks for joining us, Justin. Daryl House is from the 41, Peter Martin's 41. That's petermartins41.com. Daryl, glad you could join us here.
Again.
And of course, Jamie Monk also, Rush's Restaurant in the Waterloo Conference Hotel, waterlooinn.com. And Rush's is kind of tucked around the back, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
it's sort of hidden.
We're the hidden gem, I guess. Yeah,
That's what you can
that's
say.
it,
That's
yeah.
it. And so, yeah, but if you drive, you can get off of
King Street there.
or
You-
Weber, right? You
Yeah,
can come in through
you
the
can
back
come
too.
through the back off Weber. There's a back entrance there that you can walk in, and you can also come through the front too. It's easy to get to, so
Yeah.
come
Just,
in.
just know that
Check
it's
us
there,
out.
right? Yeah. No, it's good to have. It's good to have all these varieties of restaurants. Maybe that's a good way we should start right now. How have you guys? I mean, I know that Jamie and Daryl have been here for several years. Daryl, you were cooking at the church during the summer as well.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a neat
I'll
thing.
be back
to in.
there this summer
So you're
again.
sort of flip-flopping, going back
Yeah.
and forth. How does that arrangement work? You got a sous chef that takes over?
I've got incredible
a good
staff
team,
at
yeah.
both restaurants, and so it allows me to be able to sort of bounce between Kitchener and Stratford.
Yeah. And that's obviously during the Stratford season's very
During
busy
the-
season.
yeah.
And
It's a busy over there. I don't know. I was the head chef over there probably 7 years ago at a bistro across from the Avalon Theater, and it's fun. You know,
Mhm.
you get over there, and it's long days though during festival season. But I know you probably know that
Oh, yeah.
because they want in, they want out. You know what I mean? They come in, they want to eat in an hour and be through the show.
yeah, they got to
you know?
get to the
So-
show. Yeah, to fall asleep then during King
Yeah.
Lear or something.
Yeah,
Eat a big meal and watch a play. It's a very nice dining town. There's no doubt. But then
It's a lot of competition,
Then
though.
it slows down
Yeah.
quite a bit in the wintertime, right?
And
A
I
lot
don't
of the
know, is it
restaurants
hitting like it used to? Like I know years and years ago it used to be huge.
I heard that there was, again, more gossip. I heard that the numbers were a little bit down.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think we had a great year
Yeah.
at the
well,
church.
the church is very prestigious.
Well, I
over
think
there,
economically, since 2008, the whole tourism industry,
It
the
has.
American
Yep.
dollars have not come into Stratford. I think they suffered through that. I think it did pick up last year. I think the year maybe before or in that couple of years after 2008, it really was in a more tenuous situation. But I think it has picked up quite a bit.
which is a good thing, you know,
Yeah.
because it's nice that people come here to see theater and come to eat dinner, you know. And
Well, you know,
Stratford
it's right down the street, and I like to think of there's a real partnership, I think, between Waterloo region. I know you use some producers that are in that
Yeah,
region. I know
like
Daryl does
Seabrieville
too.
and
And
Stratford,
that's
yeah.
right, exactly. And I
Old
think that a
Forte.
lot of those chefs come into this region to
Yeah.
sample some of our food, eat at our restaurants, especially a lot of the ethnic restaurants in downtown Kitchener. So there's a nice sort of synchronicity and sort of dynamism, I think, that goes between Perth County and Waterloo County.
Yeah,
I think
and it's
there's
just down the road, like
Yeah.
literally half an hour, I think, to get there, right? So.
How have you seen this change, Justin? Has the diner changed in the last even 5 years? Have you seen a difference in what they're expecting in food, what they want in a restaurant?
I think that people are generally more educated about what they're eating these
I agree.
days.
Yeah.
Whether you say that has something to do with the Food Network and the
That's
popularity of all that stuff that's going on with Hell's Kitchen and
Right.
Man vs. Food and Drivers Dining, all that stuff, right, is a contributing factor to what we do every day. I think people are more educated. They want a better product. They want their fish a little rare. They want their
Healthier, too,
meat
right?
a little
They're eating
rare.
healthier.
They want to explore some more options. You know, we still get the elderly crowds in that want you to cook their steak as well done as possible, and their fish too.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just I think that's the biggest part. Biggest difference, I guess, would be just they're more educated. They appreciate a rare piece of meat. They appreciate the finer ingredients. Like 10 years ago, who used truffle oil? Who even knew what truffle oil was?
Right.
Like stuff like that. So it's not as exclusive. Like it's not only chefs that know about food now. It's everybody has a little information.
I equate it to people with their own medical issues. They get on the internet and they find out they have, schistosomiasis or something. They go to their doctor and the doctor says, well, I really can't find it. Oh, I think it's schistosomiasis, doc. You should check that out. It must just make the doctor very angry. Look, I'm the doctor. You're the patient. Let me do my job. So, Daryl, in comparing Stratford and Waterloo region, What have you noticed a change? Can you see anything that's evident from what people are asking you for? Is there a more educated diner and one that wants that little fine ribbon of rare in a tuna
Absolutely.
steak?
I think people are more open to trying new things now. Just because I think they're seeing it on TV or they're reading it in magazines, and so they're willing to try new stuff, which is a lot of fun for us because it means we get to chefs have been chefs have been eating crazy stuff forever, and now we get to actually put some of that stuff on our menus.
Well, even I came from Montreal about 7 years ago, and I came to Waterloo area, and I just found it was more of a steak area. But now, it's not that. It's that they're trying new things, and they want some different stuff out there.
That's a really good point, because if you go back that 10 years or so, if you think about what the restaurants were, the major ones were like the Charcoal Steakhouse. There was a place called, I was going back more than 10 years, but there was Pierre's in downtown Waterloo. There was the Alibaba, which was a steakhouse.
It was a steak, like when
the
I
Gulf
came here,
Steakhouse. There was a steakhouse phenomenon here,
Yep.
I guess, and that was what defined cooking. So, in your opinion, then you can see an opportunity for more things like emu and odd fish and seafood to come into a menu, and people are more willing to take it. Do you think the Food Network has, as Justin brought up, do you think the Food Network has had a factor in that?
Yeah, and internet and just in general healthier. Like some people that just eating all that red meat is not
Just more information just being passed around, even with the news, right? Like, I don't know, it affects everything.
It's a health thing too, Like people are seeing red meat as it's good, but like it's not that good for you, Like there's other things out there that you can put in place of it,
Well, it's here's a news item that I was going to bring up. Then the federal government has just announced recently that South Korea has reopened beef and veal trade with Canada.
Registered in the world.
Yeah, the government and the beef industry have been actively seeking re-entry into South Korea since it closed due to the BSE scare, the bovine spongiform encephalopathy or whatever it is in Canada in May 2003. Prior to that, South Korea was Canada's fourth largest export market and is selling something like 17,000 tons worth of beef in the $60 million range. Now, according to a chairperson with Canadian Beef Incorporated, exports to South Korea could reach 65,000 tons worth about $30 million by 2015, and a potential to grow to 14,000 tons. That's worth about $65 million, worth of beef by 2020. So we're talking about a nice chunk of Canadian product going to outside markets, which is going to be really good for the industry in general, and good to see it back on track again.
Yeah.
And obviously, you guys don't buy that much beef, but is it something that you change often, or do you have suppliers that help you that they offer you different products? And
we change the menu we change the menu 4 times a year according to season, right? And I've had, with the different farmers, I've went to Cumbray Farms, which is a really good beef, and actually they do lamb and stuff like that too. But I've dabbled in a lot of different farms, actually Top Metal Farms too. But I guess they all of a sudden just fell through. They were great beef too, and then West Grey up by Durham, when we were playing with them a little bit, and now they're kind of on the verge of maybe not being there, you know what I mean? So we have moved around with different beef farmers, and they all have their special little trait too, and they'll tell you exactly what they finish their beef on or whatever, to raise them and make them delicious.
You recognize that, Justin? You recognize those names? Are those beef farmers that you use? You can plug your producers here, because that's what the show's all about.
Well, actually, we just kind of made a switch to a company called 100 Mile.
Yeah, we
deal with them. Fergus. Yep. And what I do, I always get these guys come in. They want to take our beef business or whatever. We move a fair bit of beef there. I tell them to bring samples, man.
That's what he does. You know what? West Grey came from him. That's where, and he got that from Durham. And I'm up from that area. I was born and raised up that way, and I was happy to see it when it came out. But he's great.
I mean, for the longest time we used the certified Angus, and we're still on that program. But the samples I had the other week were delicious. Almost better, I would say.
You're a pig guy, aren't you, Joe? You like pig.
I've been.
That's something that
play with the pigs.
That southern United States interest you have in.
Yeah.
In
I think you actually maybe brought a pig into the restaurant once.
Yeah, I did. Actually, I did a butchery demo with Tim at Tim Farley.
Came into the Waterloo Inn kitchen and they brought a pig in and just showed some of the the newer cooks what to do. Kind of run through it.
No, that's really nice to see. I like to see that kind of coordination among all the
Yeah.
restaurants and the chefs. I think it's a really healthy thing for the food culture in the region. Okay, well, look, we got to move on to the next segment. But are you guys ready? Pens in hand, because it's time for your secret ingredient challenge. I don't know. How about we make Matt the judge? You okay? So you pay attention, Matt, to what they're going to come up with during the commercials. They're going to write down, create a menu of an entree, a main dish. With 3 ingredients, and you can add anything you want to it, guys. You can put on, if you've got a special ingredient you want to add into it, but you got to have these 3 ingredients. Okay, so I've kept it simple. Pork tenderloin, lentils. We'll say they're lentil de Puy, nice the French, the nice French ones, and spinach. That's what you got to work with. And spinach, I won't specify whether it's like the little baby leaf spinach or it's the bigger sort of stuff, or if it comes out of a can with Popeye on the outside. So you need to put together, you got what's the commercial break, about 3 minutes, is it? Yeah, something like that. You got a couple minutes now, guys, to put together this little secret menu. We'll get back to you after the commercial, so stay with us, please. If you're listening out there in 570 Newsland, we'll have to take a short break, but we'll be back, and this is indeed The Food Show on 570 News.
This is The Food Show with Andrew Coppolino on 570 News.
And welcome back once again. This is the third segment of The Food Show here on a wonderful Sunday afternoon. Glad you could join us in the studio with me, of course, Daryl House from... Sorry, I missed that. Where's that? Peter Martin. Let me just get this right here. It's www.petermartins41.com. Daryl House, Jamie Monk of the Waterloo Inn Conference Hotel, and Justin Bronson, King Street Trio. Now, we had given you guys 3 ingredients to work with. I kept them simple because what we can sort of help people maybe envision is what they might want to do with some of these ingredients. And in case you didn't already have something, I tweeted the picture of you doing this, and I got a response back from Mistress Kofos at Twitter name, and her suggestion. She's tweeted her suggestion: spinach stuffed pork tenderloin with curried lentils. So that's her suggestion.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, there you go. So I hadn't thought about the stuffing part. That's a really good idea. So no cheating now, Jamie. You can't incorporate that.
I'm all the way over here. You guys are looking at me.
All right, Matt, our studio operator, Matt Carey here, is ready to go. You're going to be our unbiased judge because I'm too close to the action here.
I'm stoked.
Yeah. Okay. So you ready?
I'm ready.
So let's start with Justin Bronson, King Street Trio chef. You had the pork tenderloin, the lentils, and the spinach. What did you come up with?
I kept it very simple, man. I'd clean my pork. I'd brine it. I'd wrap it in prosciutto, grill it. I'd make warm lentil and spinach salad, maybe put some baby corn in it or cherry tomatoes. Just do a balsamic reduction, some goat cheese on top.
That sounds good. Okay, you noted, Matt? Noted? Okay, and now
Sounds
we'll go
good.
with Daryl House of Peter Martins 41. Let me know what you did with your 3 ingredients.
Well, I got lightly smoked and grilled pork tenderloin on the barbecue with a pre-lentil puree, wilted spinach, Niagara Empire apple cider vinegar reduction, and toasted pine nuts.
Ooh. Now I can see the pine nuts and the pork going together, right? Because you got that whole idea of the pig eating, acorns, the pig eating pine nuts. So not a bad one at all. Duly noted there, Matt. Okay,
yeah, got that one. That's good too.
And finally, Jamie Monk.
What I would do is I would smoke it in applewood, and then actually wrap it in cured bacon that we've cured, and smoked bacon again, so you get the double smoked in it. And then I'd oven roast it, get it all crispy. Slice it over braised lentil succotash, and then I'd serve it with a spinach-infused ravioli stuffed with goat cheese, and finish it with a ginger maple soya glaze.
Just define succotash for us. It's like a stew.
Yeah, it's like a ragu.
Ragu stew.
Oh, yeah.
Thicker, chunky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we got two. It's interesting. We have two of the salted cured meats.
You can't go wrong
adding
with pork,
adding
pork.
around there.
Well, we do our own. We cure our own bacon in-house at the Waterloo Inn, and then we smoke it. And
Okay.
it's just
I bet.
and with the maple on top at the end there. So, yes,
And
there you go.
there was another. You You smoked yours too, did you, Daryl?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just like to when I barbecue, I like to do it with some wood on the when we barbecue, we like to do it with a little bit of wood on the grill.
Okay.
And it just
It's
keeps
nice,
the flavor.
eh? It just adds a nice flavor.
All right.
When we get the kitchen rolling there, people come in, the salespeople and stuff into the kitchen. They're like, "You guys having a campfire in here?" We're like, "No."
And Justin, did you have a smoke on yours or not?
No, I was going to, but I decided to just.
Okay, he
keep
kept it simple. That's fine. Okay,
I
Matt.
smoke everything in
Well, yeah, I know
trailers,
you
so
got the smoker in the back of the building. I've seen
Yeah.
it outside there. Okay, Matt, it's up to you. You're going to pick the winner here, and there's no pressure because these guys aren't vindictive and they won't come and slash your tires and that kind of thing. They're used.
No,
to,
we're pretty-
They're
we're pretty-
used to. Yeah, they're used to having people judge them on a daily, if not 3 times daily basis. What do you
Yeah.
think? What's your pick, Matt? Oh, very good.
I'm actually gonna go with Jamie's
Okay.
idea. I like that. That sounds delicious.
Jamie Monk, you're the winner.
Wait,
Thank
so
you.
are you gonna cook it for me? Because
Yeah.
I picked you now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Done.
All right, thanks, Matt. Well, there you go. So thanks, guys. Now, the reason I picked that, and Daryl off air, Daryl sent me a little jibe about why I picked pork tenderloin. What's your problem with pork tenderloin?
I just think there's so many good cuts of
Yeah,
pork.
I know.
That's kind of a boring one, isn't
and,
it?
I think he kept it because he said he wanted it for
Okay.
the viewers, right, kind of thing.
Right,
Because
listeners.
there is. We were talking about during the break about pork jowl, which is the cheek of the
Exactly,
of
and
the,
I
pig,
guancale
right?
or guanciale or whatever you want to
Yeah,
make it.
and no one really knows what it is, but it's
where would you
delicious.
get it
Yeah.
and that kind of thing.
Well,
yeah,
you
so I'm
can.
just
You know
thinking-
what? You go to your local butcher, and most of these Zares and stuff like that, they can source this stuff for you
Right.
guys if you guys are looking for
Okay,
it. They
well,
do have it.
we had 2 wraps here, right? We had Justin's and Jamie's were wrapped in pork. Was yours wrapped, Daryl?
No.
Okay, so just go through this as a technique then, because people would have these 2 things in their fridge at home
Mm-hmm.
right now as we speak. They'd have bacon, they may have prosciutto, but they'd certainly have bacon, probably, and they would have, let's say they have a pork tenderloin. So what's the technique?
Just
Describe.
lay the bacon out. and just wrap-
like
yeah,
in a
strips.
side to side kind of
Yeah,
thing. Yep.
and then just roll it up, and it'll stick because it's fatty, right? The
Right.
bacon's fatty. And
No.
then throw it on the seary on a hot pan, and
Yeah.
then sear the side that where the lip is,
Yep.
and that'll seal it. And then you just sear all the way around and put it in the oven, and it'll crisp up. It won't open up. It'll
No?
be good.
It'll stay
yeah,
closed
yeah, it'll
and-
stick on there.
Cooking time.
10 minutes, maybe I'd say 8. Maybe
Keep it
7,
just a
8,
little
yeah.
bit pink.
I
It's
like
okay
it
to have
pink,
pink
but people are
pork now.
scared of it
Yeah.
a little bit with the pig. But it's not a bad thing.
Same thing with the prosciutto.
Yep,
Justin?
same idea. Obviously, it's not as thick as bacon would be, but
It sticks a little better probably
It does
too.
stick. It sticks very well. Yes.
Anything to add, Daryl, since you didn't wrap your pork tenderloin? Because you're taking me to, you're really busting my balls.
Oh
with
yeah,
this,
oh yeah.
with this pork tenderloin thing.
Beep.
Okay. Not that there's any connection here. What we want to talk about next is Valentine's Day. And it's coming up at all the restaurants. And I want to, just before we talk in the specifics of that, the holiday season and special menus and occasional kind of, are those things you embrace as cooks within your restaurant, or are there things that you just sort of have to get through? And I understand you have to be diplomatic about this, but when you've got something like a Christmas holiday, when you've got the New Year's Eve thing, when you've got sort of these special occasion kind of dining things, do you embrace those? Do you sort of is it something that you just have to get through? Are they, like Winterlicious, for instance, is it more trouble than it's worth to have Winterlicious on kind of menus? What's your thoughts?
I think anything promotion-wise for restaurants, and especially Valentine's, is great for us. We want people to come to our restaurants, and we want to be busy.
Is it an opportunity, I guess, to do some showcasing, or do you have to keep things that are pretty...
Valentine's is more... It's not, you're trying to get, it's the couples. They want to just, have their traditional food, and they want to be, quaint and cozy and be happy and smiley. And I don't know if they want to go out there and try some unique things. Like New Year's is a broadcast to me to show it off. When I'm doing a New Year's menu, I try to, locate some finer
What
products.
what about you, Justin? Any aphrodisiac foods come up on the Valentine's menu?
Oysters.
Oysters. I
Isn't
love
that
them.
sort of cliche?
Oysters. I love having oysters on the menu there. I guess as far as special occasions go, I like a chance to showcase new things that I've learned. As we discussed earlier, we're constantly learning, constantly developing new techniques. I like it. It's a chance to showcase what I've learned through that month and a half, 3 months. Even, you want to go New Year's every year. It's a chance to showcase new things that I've picked up. I like it. I don't think it's more trouble than it's worth in most cases.
We're happy to get the business.
Exactly.
Daryl, is
people
it a sort of a moment for the traditional kind of meal, or do you like to experiment?
I think with what Jamie said, at New Year's, you really want to experiment and kind of push the boundaries a little bit. At New Year's, we like to keep things accessible for people so that they can, it's I think as cooks and as restaurateurs and whatnot, sometimes we forget what the focus is, and it's not what we're putting in front of them, it's who they're sitting across from. And I think that's where we try to remember that when we're doing our, things that are easy to eat and things that are, they can have some fun, but they're there with each other. They don't, what we're putting in front of them is kind of a second.
Oh, I always like the dessert for two idea on Valentine's Day.
We're doing an amuse-bouche for two, kind of like sherry kind of thing.
Gives them the same experience with food and
that's
something
what
to
what
talk
he is
about.
saying. I totally agree with when you're going out for Valentine's, you're going out with your your loved one that you're just trying. The food is not the focus. You know what I mean?
I always find it an opportunity. I've seen a couple of menus, and to be honest, I don't always go out for Valentine's Day, much to my wife's chagrin, I guess. But I'm not.
Funny, me neither.
But I always find a lot of things like classic dishes, like a beef Wellington.
Well, we're doing Chateaubriand in the restaurant, and it sells, and the people share it, and that's what I mean. They can share the Chateaubriand in the restaurant. They have their sauce, their demi-glace and their veg and their potato, and they're happy with that because they're like once again he said it's more about their time together than and us going crazy like a New Year's menu, or even I have 4 menus that I can play with all year. I don't need to play with the Valentine's one too much,
I'm speaking with Justin Bronson, King Street Trio, Daryl House, the 41, Peter Martin's the 41, and Jamie Monk of Rush's Restaurant. Now, gentlemen, I just wanted to point out, well, first of all, congratulations, Jamie, for winning the big prize here, which is cooking for our studio.
What's the prize?
But I just want to tell you, though, that the recipes and information there on those pads are now the intellectual property of the Food Show and Rogers.
Mine's tore up already.
Rogers. So we'll retain that intellectual property as we go forward here. Thanks, guys, for doing that. We have to take another break. We'll be right back, and we'll talk further with these 3 chefs from Waterloo Region. You're listening to 570 News.
This is the Food Show with Andrew Coppolino. To call Andrew, 519-570-2545. By cell, star 570. Or toll free, 1-800-570-5715. This is the Food Show with Andrew Coppolino on 570 News.
And here we are. Welcome back. This is our last few moments together with Jamie Monk of Rush's at the Waterloo Inn Conference Hotel, Justin Bronson of King Street Trio, and Daryl House of Peter Martin's 41. Gentlemen, who are your favorite cooks? We'll start with Justin. Do you have an idol? Or do you not like to fetishize and
I try to stay away from the celebrity aspect of what we do. But I say somebody I have an incredible amount of respect for is Tony Bourdain, and probably Morimoto from Iron Chef. I'm not. Those are probably the 2.
Bourdain and Morimoto, they're 2 very opposite people. I think. Bourdain has that sort of in-your-face.
I love
radical.
watching Morimoto work, but everything about food, Bourdain seems to know.
And I guess the thing is he a cook even anymore, right? I mean, he used to be. He's not anymore, but he's a food celebrity, and he certainly brings alive a lot of foods that you never, ever see, right, across the world.
Well, I don't know. I like No Reservations, for example. Amazing show. Really kind of goes to the back alley restaurants and learns the nitty-gritty about it, and that's what I like.
Daryl House.
I think my 2 favorite, my sous chef, Andrea Cassidy at the 41, she's so organized and keeps me on track that I think she's gonna be my favorite cook. Yeah. And then there's a guy out of Toronto, Matty Matheson at Parts and Labor,
right?
That I think he's got to be my idol.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I know of him. I haven't experienced his food, nor have I experienced Morimoto's food either, for that matter. But I like the technical wizardry that Morimoto comes up with. It's amazing. And he's an old guy, too, right? I mean, he was doing all this stuff, 25 years ago, and was one of the leaders. So, Jamie, do you have somebody that you sort of, not that you would ever sort of say, I'm modeling myself on him?
No. I like Michael Statlander. He's from Singhampton. He's a farmer. He's a cook. He does his thing. He has his own little restaurant there that he cooks everything off the farm. I like that. That's my kind of thing. I like that stuff that's fresh and that he knows everything. He's pulling it out of the ground himself, and he's I've been to his farm before. I went to a big congress there with
Yeah.
a bunch of chefs, and it's fabulous. He has everything you need there, and free range, Cornish hens and chickens,
And he was probably the first one in Canada, I guess, to be doing that kind of thing.
and it's
he
great.
he
That's
and
what
Kennedy-
that's what I base myself around, because I am about that. And I like that. I like to see that that's what he does. He does. I don't think he even has a supplier. I think he is his
He's
supplier.
his own supplier.
Yeah.
It's a pretty idiosyncratic little
Yeah.
place, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's it's not modern. It's not state of the art or anything like that. But it's a farm.
There's no foams and sous vides and
No.
other sort of
No.
anti griddles and things like that.
And that's what I like, because when I went to the Chefs Congress there was 500 of us there, and it was great. Like there's so many chefs, and there was just open fire. There's no electricity, and we all camped, and it was in September, so it was cold, but we all drinking some cognac, and enjoying good food, and it was fantastic.
What's new for you guys, Daryl? What's new at the restaurant coming up? What are you working on right now that may be just around the corner that we might see on menus? Are you experimenting with some new equipment? Are you playing with some new ingredients?
Oh, I don't think we've been playing with any new ingredients, but we've been kind of honing our skills with the charcuterie still.
We too, yes, yeah, we're playing with that.
And we've been playing with a lot of beef tongue lately.
Beef
And
tongue,
it's-
okay,
It's been very well received.
Yeah.
So
That's an old dish. I mean, people have been eating sort of immigrant kind of food. My grandmother used to cook this. It skipped my generation. My parents didn't cook it, but my dad tells me stories of when they ate it, and I hear that from a lot of people. So it sort of comes back into vogue now, and it's it
With
can
the
be nice and
charcuterie
sweet.
or the beef tongue?
No, beef tongue specifically. Yeah. And Justin, anything new that you're working on? Any new techniques? I know you've done a lot of smoking.
We got Valentine's Day, obviously. I'll be playing with some desserts and stuff like that. Also, we got Just Desserts for the Arthritis Society Juvenile Diabetes coming up in March. Little dessert competition with some local restaurants. Liaison School will be there. But that's about it. I guess desserts.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. Okay. And Jamie, you said charcuterie.
Yeah,
sure,
we're
which
playing
was
around
it?
with that. Just in general, everything is we're always looking for new things and to try new things. We got this, some of the farmers, like a 100 Mile food place there comes in, and he's showing us new products and stuff. So we're always dabbling, come in, and trying to play with the season, right?
That's the thing, isn't it? I mean, you want to try to stay.
A little harder for this time of year, but spring's around the corner.
Do you do preserving?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We preserve whatever we can, to be honest with you, and the charcuterie too, kind of thing. We're doing a lot of playing with that, with duck breast and stuff like that, and So no, it's good.
What about ethnic foods? We only have about 30 seconds. Where's your favorite when you're not at work restaurant to go to? Do you have one that's?
I like
local?
my pizza and the pasta.
Yeah. Okay. Daryl.
There's a taco truck in Louisiana that I dream about.
Okay, that's kind of hard to get to on your day off, though, eh?
Yeah, it is. But I've got a couple more weeks to
All
think
right.
about it.
Well, in town. Can you give us one or not?
I don't get out much.
You don't get out much?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, we feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
But if you can get down to Louisiana for that taco truck, you're doing all right. And for
yeah.
you, Justin?
Obviously King Street Trio, but seriously, I love Rainbow Caribbean cuisine.
Okay, yeah, he
The
wins.
beef and
Rainbow.
chicken
Yeah.
roadies
Oh, yeah.
to die for.
Thanks a lot, guys. We have to get out of this segment now, and I want to thank my guests because that's it for the show for this week, guys. But thanks very much. Jamie Monk, Rush's Restaurant in Waterloo Inn Conference Hotel, waterlooinn.com. Daryl House, the 41. Peter Martin's the 41, and that's petermartins41.com. And Justin Bronson, King Street Trio, kingstreettrio.com. Thank you all, gentlemen. Thanks also to our studio personnel here at 570, the cameraman and our internet producer, Greg Bowen, and studio operator, Matt Carey. Visit 570news.com for an archive of past shows, and follow the Food Show at twitter.com, 570 Food Show, and you can read my column in the Kitchener Post each Friday. Join us again next week. It's a visit from Death Valley's little brother. Remember, eat wisely and eat well. Thank you for joining us here at the Food Show, only on 570 News.